Hi guys, and welcome to a new Artist Way video. This is day 23 and I have just read chapter 4, so I want to talk about it straight away. I haven't done anything, I haven't done my other videos for the day. I just wanted to get that done as soon as possible. And I'm tempted to call the chapter Bullshit Chapter of Hell. But basically, if you haven't read the chapter, please go read it before watching this video, because I don't want you to have my negativity about it on you before you actually read it and make your own opinion for yourself. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Where to start? So first, the first part, it's called Honest Changes. And I want to call this chapter Bullshit Chapter as Covering of Hell, because in this chapter, any single resistance that you can put about everything the author say, she has a good reason why you say that, and you're wrong, basically. And I'm starting to see some pattern here, and that's not something I'm really happy about. And yeah, I have a hell lot of resistance about this chapter, but I don't think denying anyone's feeling about something is going to help in the long run, especially if you want to talk about honest feelings. I mean, that sort of looks a little bit hypocritical to me. So anyway, so the first part is Honest Change, and to be honest, I had to read it twice because I had a bit of a problem figuring out what it was actually about. At least how it worked for me. So in this chapter, she talked about morning page for quite a while, and my morning page don't have the effect that is described in this chapter at any freaking level. So I wonder if I'm doing it wrong, or if I'm doing it wrong. I don't know how else to say that, because there is nothing coming out like it's described in this chapter. Basically what it says is like, I'm supposed to see changes in my behavior or my life or the way I think or the thing I do, or I'm supposed, like when I write my morning pages, I'm supposed to go from writing what I should cast to the world into writing my true self. So basically it seems like my unconscious is supposed to pop out on the page at some point honestly. So basically it means that the morning page would deconstruct your psyche to dive into your unconscious, kind of while you're looking at it without really looking at it, because you're just randomly writing things down on the page. Like, that's basically what I do. My morning pages are so messy, it's just like random stuff. But even if I went back and read a couple, I know we're not supposed to do that, but I wanted to see if I had any honest thought coming out. And for me, there was nothing that I cannot express to everyone. And there is two possibilities for that. First one is I'm not doing morning page correctly, I'm not writing what I should be writing, and something went wrong. Second possibility is it's not working at all, and that's crap. But I'm more inclined to believe it's a third possibility, so I'm pretty sure this actually works for a lot of people. And there is a good reason why it's not working for me, and I'm going to explain that to you, so that if you are in the same condition, you're going to understand if it's not working for you. It's something pretty specific to me, so I don't know if it's gonna work for everybody, but that's how it is for me. So The reason why I think I don't come out with honest thought on the morning page, that I don't express to myself on a daily basis every day, is because of the work on solitude. And actually the work on solitude, like some people kind of tend to isolate themselves, some people get very lonely, and for me I was sort of forced into a sense of solitude. I arrived in Tokyo, so I moved from Ireland to Tokyo 8 years ago. And at first I was in the student accommodation, so there was a lot of people there. I had a lot of friends. We used to, like, I would go to work, see my friend afterwards, see my friend for lunch, see my friend for dinner, have dinner together, go out together on the weekend. The only moment where I would actually be alone would be at night, and that's when I would write or learn languages or watch movies by myself, that kind of thing. I didn't have so many down moments, like maybe 1 or 2 hours a day was like big maximum. And so that was intense. And then I moved to Sendai and I had to live alone. And basically, like, my husband here was still in Tokyo and I was in Sendai for 2.5 years, something like that. And I was alone all the time. I didn't make friends in Sendai. I was living in an apartment, so I didn't have the student accommodation friends that I could have if I was in a student accommodation. I wasn't friends with any of my co-workers or the students there, like at a level where we would hang out. So basically, when I was in Sendai, I was alone all the time. When I was working, I worked alone. We were in a room with other people, but we wouldn't talk so much. And when I was at home, I was also alone. The only time when I was not alone was the weekend when I met my husband, basically. So I had all those alone moments that was kind of dedicated to myself. And during those moments, it lasted 2.5 years. So during those moments, I didn't have anything to hide. If you spend enough time together, you're going to be way closer to yourself than you've ever been any other time when you meet people. And then I moved back to Tokyo. But I was like in a city away from my friends. Like, Tokyo is very big, and like I was like 20 minutes by train away, something like that. And then I'm here, and I have, like, since I came back to Tokyo, I haven't really met any friend I was friend before I moved to Sendai. I had a friend and she moved back to the US recently, so technically all my day I spend alone. The only time I have to communicate with people is social media. So when my husband is not home, I'm alone. So I am in this constant state of solitude that is just broken by my husband coming home or by something if I want to actually interact with people on social media. So there is nothing I have been hiding to myself anymore. I know exactly where I stand with myself. I know what I want, I know what I need, and I have enough self-knowledge that whatever I write down on my morning pages doesn't actually bring any changes into that, because I've been doing that by being solitary for so long now that there is nothing hidden anywhere. I know the flows, I know what I'm attracting, like, I know all that kind of things. So that's why the change is not happening. And that's also why I have a problem with this chapter at this point, because the author is actually covering herself. Like, she has like, she says that sometimes people actually tell her that they don't see the changes. And she says that she saw a lot of change into that person. That person is just so much into the emotions that they don't see it. And that's something I have a huge problem with, because I think that's extremely toxic. It's like you're telling a person that you barely know that you know them better than they do themselves. And I can acknowledge that sometimes someone who got, like for example, if you gain weight, someone who see you every day is maybe not going to see you gain weight, but someone you haven't seen in months is like, oh, you changed. Because you have this break and you can see the change very easily because it was one way before and now it's a different way. But if you are working with that person and that person doesn't see the change in themselves because it's happening so fast or gradually or whatever, and the other is telling, yeah, I see the change in you, I'm like, is she really seeing the change in that person, or is she trying to pretend that that person is changing so that she can actually keep going with that method? That's something I have a problem with. Another reason why I have that is because of something that happened to me when I was in high school. When I was in high school, at some point, for some reasons that I'm not going to disclose, I was forced into taking pills to calm myself down. And so I took those pills, and it didn't calm me down. At best, it led me into a state of constantly asking myself things and rumination. I think that's what actually kicked my depression sort of syndrome type of thing, that like I got really depressed. And I think the kickstarter with that was taking those pills, because it really fucked up with the way my brain worked and the way I really think when I'm in normal. So I would say I cannot think properly. Something is wrong. I cannot think properly. And I was still forced to take those pills because my mother thought she saw the changes in me. So she saw the positive changes in me. So I had to continue that treatment. While on the other side, I was feeling fucked up in my head instead. And the thing is like an external person telling you that they know you better than you. I find that extremely dangerous. I find them extremely toxic. And I was like, because I'm following Lisa Romano, and she has this thing like, if someone say, I know what you think, she 100% every single time classifies that statement and that person as toxic. And the reason is because nobody can read minds. So someone knowing your changes more than yourself is a little bit, I don't think I would trust this person. So that's one part of this chapter that really bothered me quite a bit. So honest changes, yes, maybe honest change. Like, I know if you are going to write the morning pages, stuff are gonna come up. Oh, another part, honest changes. If you're going to write a morning page, things are going to come up. What this chapter actually does is it shows you the good things that are coming out, the good things that are coming out of you. It doesn't show you any of the bad things that are happening to you. And that's another problem that I have with this chapter, because like if I have negative thought, that's the shadow integration work, things about you that you hate in your life, you have to realize that you have them because you want them. That's the sentence that I really like. Having is the evidence of wanting only, always, every single time. Every problem you have is because there is a part of you, inside of you, that actually wants that. And if morning page is supposed to break down to your subconscious and get the stuff coming up, you're gonna come out with that part of things. And the way it works in this book is like, they show you the good thing. Oh, that girl, she was, I don't know, a painter. And she actually wanted to write comedy, and that came out. That's why she has so many writer friends. True, if you do the work of observation of what she has a writer friend, so yeah, she might want to be a writer. That's fair enough, but it also works with bad things. And when you are in this book and they show you all the good things that is going to come up, your true self, your artistic self, your wonderful self, but they never tell you the dirty crap that is going to come out. Like, for example, someone who likes to be victimized. And it doesn't make any sense. You don't want to be victimized. You don't want to be punched in the face all the time. But the thing is, there is also a reward side to that. First, if she just keep on going with that routine, she doesn't need to do the work for change. Second, if she has friends who are going to pity her, oh, I'm so sorry for you, and take care of her because she got punched in the face, well, that she has a good feeling about that. It's like, oh, my friends are taking care of me because I'm so miserable. And even so, she consciously might not want to be miserable, consciously doesn't want to be punched in the face. She's happy with the reward of being taken care of in that case. And so you have that kind of crap coming up. You have all that kind of crap coming up. And it's supposed to come up, like it came up on my Solitude journey stuff. And it's probably supposed to come out for morning page as well. And the big problem I see in this chapter is that this is never dealt with, and they tell you to accept what's come out, but they don't tell you if it's something terrible that you really don't like about yourself, that you still have to accept it, and that you have to work around it and reprogram it for something better that you actually would consciously want. So technically, despite having all those tools to make yourself better, they only consider the positive side of what's coming out. And so far, that's a big thing. That's like in the previous chapter, it was the same. They made you do the dig up of stuff from your childhood, the cool stuff, to fight shame, except that the shame roots were never uncovered, because the shame root is the bad stuff about your childhood that you have to acknowledge and reorganize and think about to rationalize how it shouldn't be affecting yourself. And once you have done that, you can actually do the work and stop the shaming. So every single time I read a new chapter, I'm expecting something negative to come out. I'm expecting them to actually teach you how to deal with the negative, and it never comes. So I read that part about honest changes twice, because I really wanted to make sure I didn't miss that part. And it's missing, it's not there. And I knew, like, there is this part about Kriya, and it says you can't stay with this abusive lover, you can't work at a job that demands 80 hours a week, you can't rescue a brother who needs to save himself. But the way it's written, it doesn't make it a negative. The conscious mind doesn't understand negative. So saying you can't stay with an abusive lover, it's probably not going to tell you that. It's probably going to tell you, this is abusive, I don't like it. Which sort of mean the same, but it's actually not the same. Because the thing is, what you have to uncover is why you actually stayed. And there is a million of reasons why you're staying, even if you know it's bad for you. Because in a way, there is always a reward somewhere there. You can't work the job that demands 80 hours a week. Why not? I mean, I used to work crazy things, and I got sick, and I would work for 2 days, and then I would crash with like flu symptoms. And I would just go back and work that crazy again, and get sick again, and do it repeatedly. Because in a way I loved what I did, the job was good, I enjoyed myself doing that, even though I crashed later on. I like the people I work with. I like the money it brought me. There is a lot of reason why we keep bad habits. And if you really want to kick out the bad habits, you need to work into talking to yourself that the rewards aren't worth it. And that's something that is not mentioned here. You can rescue a brother who needs to save himself, true, but you might want to salvage your relationship with your brother. You know, like family matters, that kind of things. So when I see this chapter that kind of disregard all that side of being honest to yourself, and it doesn't actually give you any solution. If you go to buried dream and exercise, so you have to list 5 of a lot of things. 5 hobbies that sounds fun, 5 classes that sound fun, 5 things you personally would never do that sound fun, 5 skills that would be fun to have, 5 things you'd use to enjoy doing, 5 silly things you would like to try once. It's good, it's lovely, it's very nice. But I mean, you should absolutely do that part, because that part is kind of worth it. It's going to make you discover cool stuff about yourself, which is not bad. I mean, just go through the chapter and get the cool stuff out anyway, because since you're doing that, you might as well get the cool stuff out. But you have to realize that when you go through the list of the cool stuff inside of you, there is still the bad stuff inside of you. And the buried dreams can also be buried nightmares. And basically this page is not going to get your nightmare out, so you're lucky in that way. But it say he's gonna give you your list of interests if you just listen. And it's not entirely true. Yeah, but not in only a positive way. I'm just sick of the positivity in here. I find positivity exhausting. I mean, look at the world around you. Look at everything that goes wrong. And like, people are telling you to be a better person, to be a better artist, you have to be positive. Yeah, rainbow, unicorns. I love rainbows. I love unicorns. Actually, I don't really trust that unicorn. But anyway, I have a problem with the positivity, because every time something negative comes to you, you have to turn it around and see the positive, and it takes a hell lot of energy. While if you actually decided to acknowledge the negative, to work with it, it wouldn't be so bad. I mean, it would just mean that you're not a positive person, but it wouldn't actually disrupt you that much. I'm not saying that you need to whine about fucking everything. I'm not saying that you need to go around and complain all the time. I absolutely not about complaining. I think complaining is very negative and very disturbing for your digestive system, which is maybe I should make a video about that. Anyway, so I think that's a big problem of complaining, but the keeping only the positive side of things is going to exhaust you, because you're gonna have people in your life who are gonna come and be toxic, and you're gonna need to stay positive, right? Don't kick that person out of your life because you're positive. She can change. She can be a better person. I believe in her. I'm positive. No, like, you have to have boundaries and decide for yourself what you can be positive about that doesn't sap all your energy away, and what it is okay to be negative about. Like, there was this example about a car accident. Imagine you got a car accident and you just walk away. You're not hurt and you just walk away. That's the positive side of it. And I'm like, the positive side is keeping all your hunger feeling, your sadness feeling, your frustration feeling bubbled up inside of you, and it's never letting them come out. And the thing is, it has to come out. I mean, you got in an accident. First of all, don't walk away, just get checked up because you can have a concussion. Get frustrated, yell, get the hunger out. Don't keep it inside you to have it come out at a moment where there is no point of getting so hungry. So all that positive side, I find it exhausting. I find it, even just reading it is exhausting me. I'm like, yeah, I need to list all the fun, cool stuff I could do with my life that I might never do. That's also frustration.
If you like this video, please don't forget to check on part 2.